A widow's war for justice. The air over Arlington National Cemetery hung heavy, the kind of stillness that precedes a storm. Rows of white headstones stood like silent sentinels, bearing witness to a nation's sacrifices. At the heart of it all, Clara Thompson, a three-star lieutenant general, stood in her dress blues, her face a mask of grief and steel. She was there to bury her husband, Colonel Nathan Wells, a war hero killed in Syria. But as the honor guard folded the American flag, a shadow moved through the crowd. A young police officer, Ethan Harper, his hand already on his holster. In seconds, Clara's world would shatter, not with a gunshot, but with a betrayal that would ignite a war for truth. This is the story of how one woman, targeted by a system designed to silence her, turned a funeral into a reckoning. It's a tale of courage, conspiracy, and a widow who refused to kneel. Stay with us, because what unfolds will leave you questioning the cost of justice in America. Clara Thompson was no stranger to loss. At 57, she had buried soldiers, written eulogies, and handed folded flags to weeping mothers. But nothing prepared her for this. Nathan, her husband of 30 years, had died saving 6 men in a Syrian ambush the Pentagon called heroic. Clara knew better. Nathan had uncovered secret patterns of black soldiers sent to die in missions designed to fail. He was a threat, not to the enemy, but to those who wore the same uniform. As Clara reached for Nathan's flag, Ethan Harper, a white officer barely older than her son, shoved through the mourners. "She's a threat," he shouted, his gun pressed to her temple. Gasps erupted. The live broadcast, meant to honor Nathan, captured a different image, a black general in cuffs, dragged across her husband's casket. The flag fell into the mud, trampled by boots. Chief Daniel Pierce, overseeing the scene, stood motionless, his silence louder than any order. Clara didn't flinch. Fear was an old acquaintance, tamed by decades of navigating a military that praised her service while questioning her place. As she was slammed to the ground, her medals scraping granite, she saw the truth. This wasn't about her. It was a message to every black soldier who dared to rise. 3 days earlier, Clara had boarded a flight to Houston, her uniform drawing stares. Some passengers nodded with respect, others whispered. "She's just showing off," a man in business class muttered. "Bet she's on taxpayer dollars." Clara ignored them until the man added, "Always the same with them. Pride, pride, pride." Her voice cut through the cabin like a blade. "I wear this because I've buried soldiers who couldn't. If that bothers you, ask yourself why." At the airport, a TSA officer, Greg Larson, singled her out for a random screening. He smirked, questioning her medal's authenticity. "You don't look like a general," he said, loud enough for the crowd to hear. Clara's daughter, Lena, a sharp-tongued lawyer, stormed forward. "You're humiliating a 3-star general." Larson didn't blink. "Back up, or you're detained." Clara stopped Lena with a look. This wasn't the fight, not yet. In Nathan's childhood home, Clara's father-in-law, Ernest Wells, handed her an envelope. Inside was a USB and a note in Nathan's handwriting. "If anything happens, give this to Clara. Trust no one in uniform but her." The USB revealed Operation Silent Shadows, a network of judges, police chiefs, and military brass working to suppress black advancement. Nathan had traced redeployments, funding trails, and memos ordering expedited assignments to volatile zones for officers like him. Too vocal, too visible. The funeral was a trap. Clara knew it, but she went anyway. As she spoke, accusing Silent Shadows of targeting black soldiers, Ethan Harper lunged, and a gunshot rang out not from him, but from another officer, firing into the air to incite panic. "She's armed," they shouted, though Clara's hands were empty. She was tackled, cuffed, and charged with inciting unrest. The nation watched, divided. Some saw a grieving widow, others a traitor. In the Harris County Detention Center, Clara expected isolation. Instead, she found allies. A tall woman, a former soldier under Nathan, approached. "Are you the general?" she asked. "I am," Clara replied. Others joined women whose husbands' pensions were stripped, whose sons were court-martialed for speaking out. "They think we're forgotten," the woman said. "But we remember everything." A guard, Officer Yvonne Carter, slipped Clara a burner phone. On the line, Lena's voice trembled. "They edited the footage, Mom. They're calling you unhinged, a danger." Clara's response was calm. No more delays. Activate Nathan's contacts. The war was on. In court, Chief Judge Raymond Holt tried to bury Clara. You're not a soldier here, he sneered. You're a defendant. Clara's voice rang out. The difference between a hero and a criminal in this county is the color of my skin. Gasps filled the room. Lena and FBI agent Marcus Reed, a quiet ally, waited for their moment. As Holt denied bail, Marcus leaned to Lena. It's time. In a locked FBI office, Marcus played an audio file from Nathan's USB. Chief Pierce's voice crackled. Push him into Syria. No body bags come back, just flags. Holt's voice followed. If the wife talks, gaslight her. Call it PTSD. Lena's fists clenched. This isn't negligence, Marcus said. It's murder. The next court session was electric. Marcus presented the audio, financial records, and a training video of Ethan Harper learning to provoke black targets. Holt's gavel faltered. The room erupted as Clara stood. You called me a threat, she said. But today, I write your legacy. Holt dismissed the charges, his authority crumbling. Silent shadows fell fast. FBI raids swept 6 states, arresting captains, judges, and recruiters. Bank records linked patriotic nonprofits to paramilitary camps. The Pentagon launched probes. Benefits were restored to black veterans' families. Clara founded the Wells Legacy Center in Houston, a hub for legal aid and trauma support. She declined interviews, focusing on the work. At Arlington, Clara held a second funeral, no cameras, just veterans placing medals on a symbolic casket for the silenced. Nathan's final recording played. If you're hearing this, the fire keeps going. Clara laid a new flag on his grave, a promise reclaimed. Clara stood before Nathan's headstone, her fingers tracing his name. I finished it, she whispered. The flag at her feet wasn't just for him, but for every soldier buried by silence. As dawn broke, she walked away, not to rest, but to rebuild. The Wells Legacy Center buzzed with volunteers, and a Senate summons waited. Clara wasn't done. Justice wasn't a moment, it was a flame, and she'd carry it forward. What would you carry through the fire? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you faced injustice or seen it in your community? Tell us where you stand on violence and systemic betrayal. Your voice matters. Let's keep this conversation alive.